Everybody, and welcome to the Decks of the Weekend. I just returned home from Berlin, Germany. I went to the Car Market Studios to record some videos with the guys, and it was great as always. We recorded the best Pauper deck of all time series, as well as some other videos. So check them out if you like the paper magic entertainment type of videos that we do make over there, which is very similar to the one at Mango's workshop. Actually, I copied them, the style for sure. This weekend, though, in a few days, I'll leave again. I'll go to Prague to play the Legacy European Tour. That's going to be a modern tournament. Last year, the LMS Prague was over. Was it over 1,000 people? I think it was. Yeah, it was about 1,000 people. I think yes, it was 1,000 people, which was the bigger tournament after COVID. Then a few months later, we got the GP Vegas, which broke that record. But nonetheless, I'm gonna expect a huge event this weekend in Prague, and I'm not playing Martyrs. Don't. Yeah, this is just the deck of the weekend. This is going to be the typical video that I record every Monday, where I go over the decks that caught my attention the most in three formats. I'm gonna choose Modern because of the LMS Prague. I always choose Modern. Pauper because of the Pauper get, and it happens this weekend, and Standard because some of you are playing the RCQ Standard season. I will have to play the Pro Tour Standard, and then it will be the Standard Regional Champ, so Standard will definitely be of interest among competitive players. Alright, why do I have Martyrs in front of me? Why do I have this deck? Well, Levunga, Pro Tour champion, came second in a Modern Challenge with this deck, and he said that this deck is his new favorite deck in Modern. And, this is not something I was expecting, especially from Levunga, so I'm gonna assume that this deck has potential. Also, this deck, if you listen to the last episode of the podcast, top-8'd the Four Seasons as well. For those of you who don't know, Four Seasons is a tournament in Bologna that happens every 3 months, and 451 people over there. It was with the Violent Outburst still, so it was 2 weeks ago. But yeah, Martyrs made the top 8. So this is definitely not a meme. A deck that's playing 4 Eagles of the North. Control deck, you have the Abiding Grace plus Martyr of Sands combo. Actually, Anthony on the podcast said that he lost to Martyrs in round 3. You have the One Ring, which is amazing in these control decks. And you have Powerhouse, Private Inspector. You can also play Novice Inspector if you want. But definitely a ton of interesting deck this weekend. It was the first tournament after the ban of Violent Outburst. There was another very important event that happened in America, the Hunter Barton Memorial, which had a lot of players. It says there 346, but this number is always it's never true. So like a lot of players, day 2, and the John Creativity came out on top. He won the Swiss and he won the tournament. So very old styles. Also 5-color Creativity. So the Creativity players are definitely doing well these days. There's also Azorus. I don't know why I said Azorus, but yeah, there's also Merfolk, which is another deck that hasn't seen too much. Light, I would say, in a while, so it's nice to see there. And it's also Esperanimator, which is the coolest deck at the moment, a deck I want to try these days for the LMS Prague. The Modern on Magical line was overloaded by Yawgmoth, which took down almost all the challenges. Clearly the best deck at the moment, so definitely get ready for that. Wow, 3 Orcish Bowmaster, that really tells you a lot of it. More Orcish Bowmaster, very not good anymore in Modern. And then you have a Titan, 8 different decks, very cool top 8. Congratulations to Chaz Alexander for taking it down, but my deck of the weekend still has to be Mono White because, Mono White Martyr, it's definitely not something that you'd expect. There's a Magus of the Moon Splash, and you have a tough time against Amulet Titan, I'm sure. And maybe you try to cheese it by playing up Magus on the Moon post sideboard, but still gonna be hard. Let's go over to Pauper, where the last Pauper challenge was split by Fair MTG, which is a player I know from Spain, and he got the job done with Boris Synth, which is obviously a deck dear to my heart. And he's playing 8 Inspector. Not only him did well with Boris Synth this weekend, which is very surprising, but also the Italian best content creator of Pauper, Eisen. He came second, losing to Mogd in the final with Boris as well. But his list doesn't have Novice Inspector, and I know I don't understand it. I don't understand how could you not. Like, it's very weird to say no. I want exactly 4 copies of this card, especially in a card that I found always so powerful. So yeah, for me it's much closer to 8 than 4. But again, I'm not really testing too much Pauper nowadays, so it is. I'm not gonna say that he's wrong. It's weird that it doesn't say the number on these cards. There must be some bug. Let me display by pile, I guess. It's 4 Bolt, 4 Galvanic Blast. They're Seeker of the Way. The mana base is I don't endorse this mana base. This mana base is very, very weak to Gorilla Shaman, which is a card that when I play against these decks, I always have in my sideboard. I don't want my land to just blow up. Also, the mana base is super sketchy. You only have 13 sources per color. That's not really acceptable. Dust to Dust, you literally just never cast it. So yeah, there's a lot of things to change. I'm not gonna say that, this is the list that won, it's the best list. I'm just gonna change that. There's potential for Boris. I'm sure that Boris is decent in the metagame right now with, so many people doing well with it. Also, Chichojira made the top 4. So definitely a good performance for Boros, but I do not endorse to play these deck lists. I mean, I recently played with Novice Inspector and Boros. I'm pretty sure there's some deck lists around that I made, but again, this mana base is something very, very scary. Not even the Boris Garrison, which is something I love. Boris Garrison, it's his card advantage, and this deck is so mana hungry, so you want all your lands. And sure, you flood, but in the moment you go Glintalk or Korskai Fisher plus X-Meta Synthesizer, you get back all that. You need to spend so much mana, and you need it. So this deck is definitely able to use the mana. I'm sure that if you go to my YouTube channel and write Boris Synth Mango, you'll find a video with Novice Inspector, and I think I did also decent. So yeah, check it out. I'm glad to see Boris Synth doing well. Let's go back to Standard. In Standard, a very, very strange deck made the top 8 of a challenge, and it's so weird that you don't see the numbers of this. This is like a strangest magical and bug I've ever seen. But anyway, I gotta do it like this because these cards are unknown to most of them, to most of you, and maybe to me as well. So I gotta read them. Okay, no, now you see the numbers. Perfect. Okay. All right. All right. Yeah, crazy program, magical line. Anyway, I was watching Mogd playing Esper in the challenge. He made the top 4 and he beat this deck in the top 8, which I believe arrived first in the Swiss. I think, which is something unusual, I would say. And it is a deck based around Insidious Roots. This is an enchantment that says that creature token have add other Birds of Paradise, basically. But most importantly says whenever one or more creatures leaves the graveyard, you create a 0/1 plant, and then you grow your plants. And you have so many ways of creatures to leave your graveyard. You have Urborg Repossession, you have Rebel Belt Maverick, you have Seed of Hope, you have Agatha Soul Cauldron, you have Undead Butler, you have Mosswood Dread Knight, and also Tivar, Jubilant Brawler. So this is definitely a Insidious Roots deck. Agatha Soul Cauldron has other activation. You can exile, for example, Ewer Might, Scornblade Berserker, or Vordian Thrillseeker, which is the ability to put a counter on the Souls of the Lost and just fling your opponent. What happens if you draw this Thrillseeker? Well, it's not the best thing ever because you don't have too many ways to cast it. You only have, of course, Insidious Roots, and you can discard it to the Souls of the Lost. But yeah, you can just reanimate it with Tivar. You can also no, actually you can't remit it with Tivar. That's why I was double checking. You only remit it 2-drop, but you can definitely use it with Agasol Cauldron. So this deck has a lot of little combos, and I'm sure that many of you at home enjoy the challenges, the deck building challenges as well. I'm sure this is not the final list. This is just a player. Let me get the name of this player. This is not a common list, so I definitely want to shout out the player as well. Depian, who got together this little deck with so many different combos and mostly Insidious Roots. All right, that's it for my deck of the weekend. I hope you enjoyed that. And as always, if you like, you arrive to here, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I've been told by Card Market that liking and commenting doesn't help anymore the algorithm. So, I mean, if you want to do it, I enjoy reading your comments. I always comment all the comments or press a little heart. But yeah, have a good day, everybody. I'll see you next time.